We're going to go ahead and get started on today's class on your mat. Let's get started on your backs. So go ahead and lie flat with your arms down by your sides. Roll your shoulder blades down your back. Try and walk your fingers a little bit further away from your shoulders. Sink your rib cage in towards your spine. We're going to take a big inhale in through your nose. And on your exhale, float one leg up to tabletop and then the other. Now, we're going to start today with a chest lift. So we'll bring your hands back behind your head, and I want you to try and just keep your legs stable in tabletop. Exhale, lift your head and chest up, and then inhale, lower your head and chest up. As you exhale to lift the head and chest up, think of sinking your belly button in towards your spine. I want you to think about letting your rib cage pull towards your hip bones. And then just let your head kind of go along for the ride here. What you want to avoid is crunching your chin in towards your chest and then lifting up. So the idea is that we're like maintaining the same amount of space between your chin and chest the whole time here. Exhale up and inhale back down. Good. One more time here. And I want you to pause with the head and chest lifted. And we're going to twist and rotate from right to left. Now as you twist from side to side, I want you to try and keep your rib cage, keep your pelvis stable, so it's just the rib cage that's moving. And you're trying to stay lifted as you twist from side to side, opposed to coming down between reps. You can always lower your head and chest down if you need to, but try and keep it lifted if you can. Hang in there. We're going to do one more on each side. And lift. Meet me back in the middle. Lower your head and chest and relax your feet to the floor. Now we're going to add on. So let's keep the hands back behind the head, and then from here we're going to lift the head and chest back up and keep it there. From here, exhale, lift your right leg up to tabletop and then your left. Now stay lifted, tap your right toes to the floor, exhale, lift them back up. Inhale, left toes down and back up. So as you lower and lift your legs here, I want you to try and keep your chest stable and still. Again, you can always lower your head and chest down if you need to, but try and keep it lifted if you can, so that all the work is coming from the abdominals. You should feel the upper abs from keeping the chest lifted, but the lower abs from your toe taps. Good, let's do one more on each leg, hang in there. Last one. And then lower your head and chest. Relax the legs down. Oh, the world's shortest break is over. Bring your hands back behind your head. Lift your head and chest up. Twist your upper body to the right. Keep it there. Bring your right leg up to tabletop. Now continue. So upper body stay still as you tap your toes down, and then exhale, lift them up. So staying twisted to this right side. You should feel that kind of cross-body connection between your right oblique, or between your right hip and your left rib cage. Feel the right oblique muscle. Good. Inhale, tap your leg down. Exhale, lift it up. See if you can lift your chest up just a little bit higher as you bring your leg up to tabletop. Good. Exhale up and back down. A couple more here. Stay strong through that right side. Last one. And then lower everything down. And we'll switch to the other side. So lift the head and chest up. Twist it to the left, stay there, lift your left leg to tabletop, and then tap those toes down. Exhale, lift the leg up. Inhale, tap it down. Now really try and stay lifted up through that oblique as you lower and lift your leg here. Maybe even lifting up a little bit higher as you draw that leg up to tabletop. Try to get the left shoulder blade up off the mat here. Good, hang in there. Last two. Last one. And then lower everything all the way down. Hopefully your abs are feeling nice and warm. We're going to walk your feet all the way together so that your ankle bones are touching, your big toes are touching. Try and press your knees together and your inner thighs together. Now you may or may not have space between your inner thighs. It just depends on your own build. But arms are going to come down by your sides. And we're going to bridge your hips up, but I only want you to bridge your hips up as high as you can keep your knees and your inner thighs pressed together, and then slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time from there. So exhale, press through your heels, squeeze the inner thighs as you lift up, and then slowly lower back down. Now the key here is to keep the rib cage pressed down into that mat for as long as possible as you go to lift your hips, so that your abs are staying tight. You're going to start to feel the work here in your glutes and hamstrings and the backs of the thighs, as well as on your inner thighs though. And the inner thigh resistance is actually coming from your IT bands, which is this like connective tissue on the outside of the thighs. And depending on how tight your IT bands are, they might be giving even more resistance for your inner thighs, which is kind of exciting. Good, so nice and slow as you exhale to lift up. And inhale, lower back down. Try and stay soft in the neck and shoulders. Now pause with your hips lifted. Pull the rib cage in a little bit tighter. Squeeze just the glutes to lift the hips up and up. So we're just pulsing the hips up. Try and press those knees together a little bit more. Feeling that squeeze on the thighs for 3 and 2 and 1, and lower those hips all the way down. Resting down at the bottom for just a second here. We're going to bring your right leg up to tabletop, and then press through your left heel as you squeeze to lift up, and then lower back down. So single leg bridge on your left leg. Exhale, press to lift up, and inhale, lower down. Try and keep your right hip lifted at the same height as your left as you lower and lift that left side. Good. Nice and controlled. Now pause with your leg lifted, or your hips lifted. We're going to go back to that toe tap. So tap your right toes down. Exhale, lift them up. Inhale, tap them down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Right hip lifted at the same height as the left, using the hands for stability, the legs for the work. Last one here. And lower the hips and switch feet. So replace your foot. Take your left leg up to tabletop. Press through the heel as you lift up, and then lower with control. Exhale, press to squeeze and lift, and inhale to lower. So again, we're staying soft in the chest and shoulders. As you go to lift your hips up, keep the left hip lifted at the same height as the right. Sometimes it's helpful to focus on reaching the foot away just a little bit as you lift to help keep the pelvis neutral, opposed to letting the knee like collapse over your chest as you lift. Good, one more time. Pause with your hips lifted, tap the toes down, and exhale, lift them up. Inhale, tap down, exhale, lift up. Good, so feel your low abs, helping to control the leg up here, but stay lifted through that right side. Last one, pause with that leg up, and lower the hips, and replace your foot. All right, our last kind of bridge exercise. I want you to lift your hips halfway up and hold, and then flex your feet so that your toes come up off the floor and you're just on your heels. Now from here, I want you to walk out one foot at a time, trying to keep your hips elevated, and then walk your feet back in. Now, as you walk your feet in and out here, it doesn't really matter how high you keep your hips lifted. What matters is the stability in your pelvis. So I'd rather you keep your hips lower and keep them consistent at the same height than have those hips really high that you start to feel your low back. This one's all about those hamstrings on the backs of the thighs here. So slow and controlled is definitely the name of the game. Good, hang in there. Let's do one more out and in. Good, abs stay pulled in tight, ribs are pulled in. Walk those feet all the way back in, and then lower the hips down. Whew. Hug your knees into your chest. You can curl up into a little ball if that feels good. Maybe take a little rock from side to side. Whew. Okay, we're gonna lower the legs to the floor here, and then roll onto your side for some side lying work. So I want you to lay today with your forearm either bent or with your arm extended out overhead. Just try not to pop your head up. Yeah, so in a nice side lying position here, we're going to straighten both legs and then swing your legs slightly forward. So when you look down your torso, it's kind of like a little banana shape. Yeah, Place your top hand on the mat. Eyeballs are going to be straight forward. Lift your top leg up and then swing it back so it almost feels like it's behind you. From here, lift the left heel up towards the sky and then lower your leg back down. Now I want you to try and stay lifted in your waist as you lower and lift your hips, as you lower and lift your leg so that your hips stay still. Now I'm thinking of sending energy out through my heel as I lift my leg up and down here. Thinking of pausing for a second as I lift up to really feel that muscle contraction in that glute on the back hip. Good, a couple more here. And 2. Now pause with your leg lifted. You're going to swing it forward so that it comes back to parallel with your bottom foot. Bend your leg to tabletop and pause there. With your hip, your knee, and your foot in the same plane. And then exhale, press that leg back down. Inhale, bend it in. And exhale, press away. Now as you bend your knee in, try and keep your waist lifted up off that bottom side, opposed to letting the ribs and the hips collapse and your knee collapse. So there's active energy throughout this whole exercise here. I like to keep my foot flexed so I can press through my heel. I find I have a little bit of a better connection with my glutes with my foot flexed than with it pointed, but you could try both and see what works better. Now we're going to pause with your leg stretched out. Swing your leg forward in front, bend your leg to tabletop, and then kick it up from there. So we're going to swing it forward, bend it in, and press it out. Swing it forward, bend it in, and press it up. One more time. Forward, keep that foot lifted in line with your hip as you bend it in and extend and reverse. So bend the leg in, kick it out, sweep it down. Pull it in, stretch it out, and sweep it back. A couple more here. Inhale in, exhale, reach it out. Good, last one. Stay strong on that left side as you pull the leg down and relax the legs. Keep your legs straight. You're gonna kick your bottom leg back and then your top leg's gonna go in front. So your heel toe. And then we're gonna come up onto your forearm for a side plank. So set yourself up before you press up into your plank so that you're lifted out of your elbow, and then lift your hips up so you can find a straight line from the crown of your head all the way down your body to your feet. Lift through your bottom oblique, lift out of that bottom shoulder, hold it here, stay strong. You can always bend your knee for a little bit more support for 3 and 2, and rest the knees down. Now from here, I want you to bend your bottom leg. You're going to keep your top leg straight and then lift back up into your side plank. Now from here, we're going to tap your hips down and then exhale to lift them back up. Inhale down and exhale up. Now, if you want this to feel more challenging, you can straighten your bottom leg, but I want you to really focus on keeping your pelvis and your rib cage and your shoulders in a straight line as you dip the hips down and back up. 2 more here. Whew. Last one. And then we'll lower those hips and roll over onto our forearms, where we're going to do a double arm plank. So from here, forearms are going to be parallel like number 11. Come up onto your knees first, and then press your feet back into your plank. Reach your head and your heels in opposite directions. And we're going to open your left leg out to the side and bring it back in. Left leg out and back in. So it's really slow and controlled. Stay lifted out of the shoulders. Feel how your pelvis wants to wobble back and forth. Your job is to keep it still. Last one. And then rest your knees down and sit back into a child's pose stretch as you reach the arms and the tailbone in the opposite direction. And it's just a short break here before we come back into your plank position. So step those feet back out, or we'll add your toe tap on the other side. So tap it out to the side and back in. Now I'm on the right side, or whatever leg you haven't done yet. Good. Stay strong through that upper body. Only moving the leg in and out as far as you can keep your pelvis stable. Lift out of those shoulders for 2. And last one. And rest those knees down. We'll do the whole sideline thing on the other side. So now laying down on your left side with your legs straight and the feet slightly in front here. So remember, we have that like almost like banana shape in the spine. Put your top pin into the mat for support. Lift your leg up, swing that leg back behind you. Slide your leg up and then lower it back down. Now remember, as the leg lifts, you're trying to stay lifted through your waistline. Sending energy out through that heel to feel the work in the glute on the top side of the hip. Trying to keep the chest and the shoulders stable and the pelvis stacked. Lift your leg up with control and then lower it down with control. Let the down be just as important as the up. Good, one more time here. Now we're gonna pause with your leg in line with your top hip and swing the leg forward while we're bending it up to tabletop. Now hip, knee, foot, pause, all in one flat plane. So I can like rest a pizza box here. And then exhale, press that heel to reach the leg out. Inhale, fold it in. And exhale, press away. Good, inhale, bring it in. Feel that bottom oblique stay tight. Exhale, press it out. Try not to let that top hip collapse in as you bend the leg to tabletop, right? So instead of like this space shorten as the knee comes in, stay long through here so that you can keep the waist lifted. Last one, pause with your legs straight. We're gonna kick your leg forward, bend it to tabletop, and then stretch it back out. Swing it forward, bend it in, and kick it out. Good, nice job, you guys. Hang in there. Trying to keep the foot lifted in line with the hip and knee the whole time, and then reverse it. So bend it in, extend out, and pull it back. Bend it in, stretch it out, and pull it back. Good, one more time here. What am I like? Now we have one more. Last one. Whew. Stay strong, and sweep that leg down. Relax the legs down. Now we're going to swap your feet so that you have your top leg in front and your bottom leg behind. And then come up onto your forearm for our side plank. And then from here, we'll lift your hips up and lift out of that bottom shoulder for a static hold. Try and pull your head back in line with your spine. Pull the ribs in tight. Squeeze your glutes. Lift out of your bottom shoulder. Hold it there for 3 and 2 and 1. And relax the hips, bend your bottom leg, and now we're gonna lift up for our side bend. So press through your bottom knee, lift up here, try and find a straight line from your head, your shoulders, your hips to your foot, and then tap your hips to the floor. Exhale, lift them up. Inhale, tap down, and exhale, lift up. Notice how nothing changes at the shoulder here. So stay lifted and strong out of your shoulder. Good, 2 more here. And last one. And then good news, we're gonna lay flat on our bellies and get a little bit of a stretch in here before we go on. So I want you to reach back and grab your right ankle with your right hand. Now if you can't reach your foot, grab a towel, loop it around your foot, and then hold the towel instead. That left arm is gonna be just slightly forward in front of you here. Flex your foot, and I want you to try and keep your knees pretty close together. Kick your right leg away from you. Feel how it arches your back. Now pause here. I'm using my left arm for support, but I'm kicking my hand away from my shoulder with my leg so that I feel a stretch on the front of the right shoulder and in the pec. And then lower down. And lift it back up, lifting back into that stretch, kick away. Trying to stay soft in the front of that right shoulder. And then lower down and switch sides. So reach back for that left foot, flex the leg, flex the foot, press up. Feel the stretch on the front of the chest and shoulders on that left side. Right arm is for support. And lower back down. And again, lift and hold, kicking away. Feeling that lovely stretch here before you lower the chest down. Now we're gonna reach back for both ankles. Yeah, so if you can't reach them, again, grab the towel, wrap it around both ankles, and try this move. So this one's called rocket, and we're just gonna do the prep today. So we're gonna point the feet, And then press your legs away from you as you lift up and come it into like a little back bend here. So feel the stretch on the front of the chest and shoulders. Use your back muscles to help support this exercise, and then lower everything back down. Try and bring your legs close together again and again. Exhale, lift up. Pausing here, feeling the stretch on the front of the body before you lower back down. And one more time, lift and hold. Roll the shoulder blades down your back. See if you can use your back muscles to lift up a little bit higher. And then lower everything down and relax those forearms. Okay, we're gonna come back into a little bit of like a extended upper back position, so kind of like a cobra. Roll your shoulder blades down and back, and I want you to, instead of letting your low back dump down onto the mat like this, try and lift these little bones up. So you feel kind of like you're planking with your upper body. You're gonna wanna squeeze your glutes a lot, and I have my legs externally rotated, so heels in, toes out. Keep your left arm still, slide your right fingers out in front of you, and then try and lift your arm up off the floor, and then lower it back down and switch sides. So you stretch the arm out, lift it up, and back and in. So as you slide your arm out and lift it up, try not to let anything in the whole body move. So all the work is coming from the muscles on the back of the shoulder blade as you lift the arm. Try and keep your shoulders as far away from your ears as possible here, versus letting your upper traps do the work. Let's do one more on each side. Bring it back in, and last one, stretch it out. And then we'll lower and rest all the way down so that you can relax your forehead down onto your hands. Now we're gonna keep your legs externally rotated and then glue your heels together. So you're kind of in like a little frog position. From here, I want you to tuck your tail under, press your pubic bone down, try and lift your thighs up off the floor, and then lower your legs back down. Lift the heels up, pause and hold. Feel the work on the glutes, try and tuck the tail here, and lower back down. Now keeping the tailbone tucked or the pubic bone pressed into the mat, feel the difference where you're now just feeling your glutes working on the back of the hip versus when you let that pubic bone lift up, you feel how you feel your low back. Yeah, we don't really want that here. I don't really care how high you can lift your legs up. I care way more about you just feeling the work in your buns and feeling a lot less in your low back muscles. Good, give me one more here. Now pause with your legs lifted. We're gonna pulse the heels up and up and up. Woo, stay strong. Tuck that tail. You're gonna feel your low back working a little bit. That's okay. And two, and one more. Relax the legs and the arms down. Press your heels back onto your bottom as you stretch your arms forward in a child's pose stretch, releasing those muscles we just worked on. Sending your weight back into those heels. Now from here, we're gonna come up onto our hands and knees in 4-point kneeling. We're gonna do some tricep work here. So I want you to make sure your hands are right under your shoulders and your knees are right underneath your hips. Spread your fingers really wide and press down through the tips of the fingers. Now, keeping your hips stacked over your knees, you're gonna bend your elbows, lowering your face and your chest towards the floor, and then press to the palms of the hands to come up. So we inhale, lower down. Exhale, press to the palms of the hands to come up. Now, as you go to lower down towards the floor, try and keep your butt back over your knees. So it's a little bit different than a normal tricep push-up. A little bit slower, a lot more controlled. Good, a couple more here. Again, roll those shoulders down and back. Try and leave them there forever. Good, last one here. Now we're gonna take the hands a little bit wider for a chest push-up. So elbows will go wide as you lower your chest towards the ground, and then exhale to press back up. So we inhale, drop the chest down, butt stays back over the knees. Exhale up. Inhale, lower. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale up. Good, think of keeping your core tight. Reset your shoulders. Try and pull your head back up and in line with the rest of your spine. Almost like you're trying to suck your nose in towards the back of your skull. Good, one more here. and pressing to come all the way up. Good. Now from here, I want you to roll over onto your bottom, and then we're gonna lay back on your forearms. So on your forearms here, I kind of like to wedge my fingers under my bottom for a little bit of support, but I want you to try and find a straight line from your head through your chest all the way to your hips. And then we're gonna take one leg up to tabletop and then the other. Going back to our heel taps at the beginning of class, flex your feet, tap your right foot down, and exhale, bring it up. Tap your left foot down, and exhale up. Now, as you lower and lift the leg, the goal is to keep your torso perfectly stable so that it's just your lower body that's moving. So we're using this as like a little bit of a teaser prep today. One more here. Pause. Now from here, I want you to point your toes and stretch one leg all the way out, and then exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, stretch your left leg out, and back in. So as you alternate legs here, try and keep your chest lifted out of your shoulders. Use your breath here. Good. Ooh, there's that sweat. I hope you guys are starting to feel it too. Last one on that left leg. Pause. Externally rotate your legs. I like to flex my feet here. We're going to straighten both legs out and bring both legs back in. Reach them out and back in. So I'm going to exhale as I stretch my legs away this time, and inhale, bend back in. Now if you can't get your legs straight without your back moving, try and stretch them a little bit closer to the sky. Makes it a little bit nicer. One more. Pause with your legs straight, point your toes, open out, and bring them in. And open out, and back in. And out, and exhale in. Two more. Last one. Bend the legs back in, rest the feet down, and then lay all the way down. We'll get a little bit of stretching in here. So we're gonna reach your arms out into like a field goal kind of shape here with your palms face up. Glue your legs together. Let both feet fall over to the right hand side here. Feel that stretch through the spine and through the back. As you reach your left knee away, think of pressing your left shoulder back into the mat. We want to try and feel this stretch, this twist in the upper back. And then use your abs to bring your legs up through center and let them fall to the other side. So again, I'm reaching my right knee away as I try and connect my right shoulder to the floor. Couple deep breaths here as you try and relax into the stretch. Grow a little bit as you inhale, and then twist a little bit deeper as you exhale. On your next exhale, use your abs. Bring your legs up through center. Good. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Hold it with your left hand. Extend your left leg. And then bring your knee across your body towards the other side here. As you try and keep your right hip connected to the floor, you should feel like a really nice glute stretch in your right buns. Good. And then let's stretch your leg up towards the sky here for a bit of a hamstring stretch. So either grab behind your hamstring, your calf, or your ankle, just not directly behind the knee. You want to try and get your leg as straight as possible here. Good. Now I want you to bend your knee and try and reach for the inside of your foot. And then open your leg up to the side. And we're going to try and stretch your leg off to the side so you get a little bit of an inner thigh stretch here. Now try and keep your left hip connected to the floor. You can always keep your leg bent. If you can't get it all the way straight, that's okay. You should still feel this stretch all throughout that right inner thigh and right hamstring. And then bend your leg in, and we'll switch sides. So hug your left knee in with your right hand, extend your right leg, pull your leg across your body towards the other side, feeling the stretch on the back of the left hip. Trying to stay soft in the upper body as you release that hamstring and glute on your left leg. And now we'll do your hammy stretch. So reach your leg up to the sky. Again, grabbing on behind your hamstring, your calf or your knee, just not directly behind the knee. There's really just like a lot of veins, nerves, and arteries that pass through there, so we just don't want to upset anything. And then bend your knee so that you can reach the bottom of the foot. And then we're going to open that leg up to the side for your inner thigh stretch. So we're trying to keep the left hip connected to the floor, and by your left hip I mean your right hip, because I have my left leg out to the side. But feel that stretch on the inner thigh and hamstring. And then bend your leg in, roll onto your side. We're gonna come to seated on your knees if that works for you. If kneeling doesn't work, just however is comfortable. But let's stretch your arms up to the sky. And then open your arms, clasp your hands behind your back, pull down, open up as you lift your heart and chest up to the sky. Let go of your arms and give yourselves a round of applause. Nice job. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.